Hi, I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from YourBlackWorld.com. Today you saw that there is a little bit of discontent amongst some HBCU leaders, and surprisingly, this discontent is actually with the Obama administration. And the issue, from what I understand, and I'm not an expert on this, I'm learning about this as I read about it, but obviously I'm concerned because I am an educator and a finance professor. The concern has to do with student loans and eligibility for PLUS loans that parents typically give for their children to help them cover the extra expenses that some of the other loans won't cover. And from what I understand, there's been a change in the regulation that has led to thousands of HBCU students having to drop out of school, and it's gotten so awkward that HBCUs are actually suing the Obama administration. So to try to understand this a little bit better, I want to reach out to my homegirl, my partner in crime, Miss Yvette Carnell. How you doing today, Yvette?
Pretty good. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. Doing good. You know, we haven't talked for a while. We haven't talked for maybe 2 weeks, at least not on the air. Where you been?
I've been around, been here, been working hard.
No, you're just becoming a big shot. So now you're doing interviews with everybody but me. Don't have time for the little people anymore, huh?
But I'm here right now.
You know what? You're a superstar, man. I think that, we could tell people, Your Black World's doing really well. We're actually clearing 200,000 visitors a day now, which is awesome given where we started with, where we were trying to get 10,000 in a day not too long ago, less than a couple of years ago. And now, people seem to really like what we're doing. And, I'm really happy to know that people want to know the truth, and I think you do a good job of giving them that. So, good work.
Much appreciated.
Absolutely. All right, so what is this thing about HBCUs? I reached out to you because I saw your article that you wrote about this on your blog, breakingbrown.com, and you were saying that there were, what was it, 28,000
students who were enrolled in HBCUs have had to drop out because of lack of funds due to the Obama administration's policy change where, the school used to, the Obama administration with the PLUS loans, they used to look at the last 90 days of a parent's credit history. Now they look at the last 5 years. Well, part of the problem with that during the last 5 years, the bottom fell out of the economy. You had recessions, you had people getting their homes foreclosed on. So a lot of parents can't pass that test, and so their kids are having to leave school, which has pulled $150 million of revenue out of historically black colleges. And, a lot of colleges, as my alma mater, Howard University, last month had some administrators saying, hey, we're in trouble. And Howard University is the richest school of the historically black colleges. So how do you think other black colleges are faring under this?
Wow. So, okay, so let me get this clear. So you're saying that, now, but first of all, I want to ask you, this 28,000 figure, where did this come from? Who's saying 28,000 students had to drop out?
28,000 came from an article actually in the New Republic. The New Republic wrote an article about, that talked about this. So the 28,000 number came from the New Republic, in terms of information that they had gotten from, there's been a few reports and a few statements made from people in the historically black college digest and a few other places. So they put that together and published this number.
Okay, got you. All right, so I agree with you. It's stunning. When you see that Howard University is the strongest, economically strongest HBCU in the country, from what I understand. I mean, they're kind of the behemoth of HBCUs with the biggest endowment and all that stuff. And one of their board members, it wasn't just some random administrator, one of their board of trustees members said that if we don't get our act together, we're going to be out of business in 3 years. I mean, that's just shocking. I mean, imagine Harvard University said that, or the University of Texas, right? And to give people an idea of how deep the racial disparity goes in economics, if you actually add up the endowments of every single HBCU in the country, that still does not match the endowment of USC, for example. Just one school
not even in the top 20 in endowments as far as white universities. Every HBCU combined could not match the endowment of that one university. So, that was the reason why I supported Dr. Walter Kimbrough down in Dillard when he asked Dr. Dre a simple question. When Dr. Dre gave that $35 million to USC, he said, why didn't you at least consider giving a little bit of that money to an HBCU where the money would have made a difference for your community? A school like USC, they don't hire black professors very often. They don't admit black students unless you can dribble a basketball or throw a football or make money for them somehow. There are black students on campus who recently complained about being harassed by the campus police and the LAPD while they were in school. But yet we're giving our money away to these places, and yet our most storied HBCUs are in serious economic trouble. I can say this, and then I want to hear more from you, that if I ever give money to a university, I'm not giving it to the University of Kentucky where I went to school. That's a racist university. I'm not giving it to Syracuse University where I teach. That's a racist university. I will give my money to an HBCU because that's where black children are being educated and being taken care of, and that's where our support should go. So now, what's the political implication of this? All the HBCUs coming together to sue the Obama administration. Valerie Jarrett, who is shown consistently, senior advisor Valerie Jarrett, she's pretty much shown consistently that she does not like this kind of thing. She doesn't like it when black people speak up for themselves. How do you think the Obama administration is responding to the reports of HBCUs suing the administration?
Well, it's not, there's a divide right now in terms of whether or not they want us to. You have some people who are saying, hey, we can't take this big of a hit. We don't have a choice. And then you have some people saying, well, let's wait it out and let's see what happens. But I just want to discuss the point that you just brought up about the importance of HBCUs. I don't even think a lot of black people understand. HBCUs constitute 3% of America's colleges, but produce 20% of black graduates. That's a huge number, 20%. 50% of black public school teachers and lawyers come from HBCUs. 80% of black judges and 90% of VAs in the STEM field, which is math and science. So I think people really need to understand before they start saying, well, HBCUs need to get their act together. I think they need to understand the kind of people that are needed in the community who are being produced by HBCUs. Now, I think the Obama administration kind of planned this and saw this coming. And here's the only reason I'll say this. In 2009, John Sylvanus Wilson, who is actually, an Obama appointee at the White House, who heads the White House, initiative on historically black colleges and universities, said the soundtrack at HBCUs had been dominated by violins, right? And he said it needs to be dominated by trumpets, meaning that we need to kind of get out of this kind of pity party in terms of how we do money and how we raise money and become more competitive. So I think that was a precursor to them changing that policy in terms of how PLUS loans are given out. And you also see the Obama administration has a college scorecard, right? The college scorecard sort of ranks colleges. And if you look at that, it really does a disservice to HBCUs and kind of knocks them down to the bottom. And that's partly due to the fact that the cost of HBCUs have gone up during the Obama administration. So in terms of how they're going to react politically, I don't think that they're surprised. I think that this was something that the Obama White House had sort of planned on doing and changes that they had planned on making in the Department of Education. And I think they will be surprised if HBCUs actually decide to sue. That'll be new.
Interesting. So, well, I'll say this. John Wilson, who you mentioned earlier, he's now the president over at Morehouse, and I know John, and I respect him, and I appreciate what he's working to do for the community. And what I'll say is that he's right that the soundtrack for HBCU should not be dominated by violins. It should be dominated by trumpets. And the problem, though, is that when those trumpets really start to blow, I'm not sure if the Obama administration is going to like the tune that comes out of those trumpets. Maybe blowing that trumpet means objectively and honestly dealing with the obstacles that lie in front of you, even if those obstacles are being maintained by people that you thought were your friends.
if you look at the data and you see that HBCUs have suffered under the Obama administration, if you see that black students are being forced to drop out of HBCUs on a massive scale under the Obama administration, if you see that that the cost of attendance and all these other factors have gotten worse under the Obama administration, then the only conclusion you can logically come to is that the Obama administration has not prioritized the support of HBCUs over those universities that the president has a very cronyistic relationship with, such as Harvard University, et cetera. I mean, if you look around, you'll see that many of his appointees are from Harvard. You know, he takes good care of Harvard. Does he take good care of Howard? Does he take good care of Morehouse and all the other schools that have constituencies that are very supportive of the president? So I'm not really sitting here to say that the Obama administration is the enemy, but I certainly think that the onus is on the administration to prove that they are a friend and that they are an ally. And if this is going on, if these kids are being forced to drop out of school, then it's hard to conclude that they're doing very much to help. I can't wait to hear what their response is, and I'm just happy that you brought this issue to the forefront, Yvette. I'll let you get the last word.
Well, you mentioned John Wilson, who took over at Morehouse in 2012, and I had brought up previously that he led the Historically Black College Initiative as an Obama appointee. Now, when I think about that, the thing that continues to resonate in my mind is the Obama Morehouse speech. The Obama Morehouse speech, where he kind of called men to task and said, "Hey, you have to accept responsibility for your life. You have to do the right thing." You know, and I accept responsibility for everyone, including black people. But my problem is when the people say, you know, Obama, you have to accept responsibility. You are the first president. You are the first black president. You have to step up to the plate as well. You know, it's almost like telling a child what to do, but not doing it yourself, not being a model for that sort of responsible behavior. If you want us to do well at school, if you want us to continue to be able to go to Morehouse and graduate from these historically black colleges, then you have to be out there as well. And you didn't have to go back and change this rule. Like, this rule wasn't changed under the Republican administration. This was the rule when I went to school. This has been the rule for a while, to check the last 90 days. So why did you have to go back there and change that, and why can't you change it back? Like, these are some of the questions that resonate in my mind as I think about this issue.
Well, you know, I think those are very important questions to ask. And what we're encouraging people to do is to ask the questions and seek out the answers wherever they lie. I don't think it's our job to give people what the answer should be. You know, because the funny thing to me is that, you know, in the last few years, we've really made a collective effort to shut down our brains. We're afraid to ask questions, hard questions, when it comes to the Obama administration. And just the idea that you can be penalized for simply asking a question is about as unfair, un-American, and racist as you can get. So I think we need to ask those questions, and if the administration has some answering to do, then we should demand those answers. We cannot put the success of one man and his presidency ahead of the success of millions of young black students, and I stand by that point until the day I die. So thank you very much, Yvette. I really appreciate your time. And thank you all for checking us out at yourblackworld.com. And until we meet again, please stay strong, be blessed, and be educated. We are gone. Peace.